It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
So my friends, this morning I pick up the standard speaker, which I always do, and I see here headlines. Shocking. U.S. death toll from COVID-19 hits 200,000. Hits 200,000. Not good. We don't know of the 200,000 people who have died, whether they were healthy, whether they were not healthy. I'm assuming that a majority of them were people who had other issues, and when COVID hit, they died. They weren't all healthy. What if you saw this morning this headline? What if you saw 862,000 deaths in 2017? What if you saw that? Oh my God, you see Senator Casey with 55 masks on, Governor Wolf would have helmets on, etc. He'd shut down the entire country. You wouldn't be able to walk out the door. But that's what happened in 2017. 862 unborn babies, healthy babies, were destroyed. Pulled apart, limb by limb. No one thought anything about it, except pro-life people who get spit upon, who people jeer us because we're for saving unborn babies. You want to know what's happening in the world today? California burning apart, people getting the China virus all over the world. You think God is trying to tell us something, my friends? 862,000 little unborn babies never had a shot, and they were healthy. Today, we're going to talk about some things. Yeah, these are shocking numbers. And that's, unfortunately, that's the way it is. Why is this year so very important? Seniors, remember this, my friends, seniors. You think you're not going to have babies? Yes. But what happens when you become unwanted? Like these people were unwanted. What's going to happen to you when you're unwanted? Well, Executive Director for the Pro-Life Federation, Michael Ciccocioppo is here today, along with Bonnie Finnerty, who is the Education Director, and of course my good friend Maryann Lawhon, President of Pennsylvanians for Human Life. Michael, how are you?
Very good, Sam. Thank you.
Shocking numbers, aren't they, Michael?
They really are, and it happens every day. Yeah. Every single day these people are dying.
So, how is life at the Capitol?
Well, life at the Capitol has been sort of a mixed bag. Over the last 6 years, our pro-abortion governor, Tom Wolf, has actually had the opportunity to do some good things for pro-life. The state legislature sent to him a bill that would ban dismemberment abortions. We're talking late-term abortions, tearing little babies apart, limb by limb, excruciating thing. The General Assembly sent the bill to him. He vetoed it. Not only did he veto it, but he went down to Philadelphia and showed off in the city hall with his pro-abortion friends how he vetoed it and said, no, we're not going to do anything to prevent any kind of abortion. So that's a bad thing. Another bad thing is the legislature sent him a bill to at least ban the killing of unborn babies diagnosed with possible Down syndrome. These kids are just being obliterated, and I have a little friend, Chloe Condrich, out in Philadelphia, 16 years old. She's written a book. She's done marvelous things. In 16 years, she's done more than people have done in 70 years of their life. Why should she have been killed in her mother's womb? So that's the bad side at the Capitol. The good side at the Capitol is we do have strong pro-life majorities in our House of Representatives and in the Senate, and they have been a firewall against Wolf, because Wolf has a radical pro-abortion agenda he would like to enact. And if he had a legislature that went along with him, he would be doing it. And for the last 6 years, they've been able to stop him from doing it. And they've been able to continue to fund Real Alternatives, which is providing money to pregnancy resource centers to help women in need so that they don't feel like they have to abort their babies.
So leads me into my second question, which we discuss, is why is life right now on the line?
Oh boy, life is on the line right now. I want you to envision 4 different scenarios and what the future would be after the November 3rd election. Let's imagine that our pro-life President Trump was reelected. If he's reelected and he and Mike Pence get 4 more years, they're going to continue to stop funding abortion overseas and in the United States. They're going to continue to try and get good executive orders passed. If they were to get control of the House of Representatives and the Senate, they could actually pass bills that the president could actually sign in the next 4 years. He has pro-life people all over his administration. That would continue. Now, things would be pretty good. More justices on the Supreme Court who would be pro-life. We would see an end to Roe versus Wade, and we would actually see all the pro-life laws that the states are passing get upheld by the Supreme Court if the president was reelected. But if the president is not reelected, if our pro-abortion Joe Biden and his pro-abortion Kamala Harris were to get in there, they would immediately try to dismantle everything President Trump has done, and they would start funding all of the abortions with our tax dollars. They would put radical pro-abortion justices on the Supreme Court, and any pro-life laws that the states passed would be overturned at the Supreme Court level. I mean, those are just 2 scenarios that could happen. That's why the life is on the line right now, because it will be the difference between night and day, darkness and light, depending on how this election goes.
So that leads me into my other question that I have for you is, I often get told when I'm having these pro-life shows, and there's one thing I say without question, the only thing I've ever stood for on this show, I allowed other people to come on, and some people say I slant when I have a Republican or a Democrat on. It's not the truth. I am pro-life, 100% solid for the unborn baby, okay? So I hear, Sammy, friends of mine, Sammy, you know, you talk about pro-life, and that's, but there's so many other issues out there, Sammy. You got a president who is racist. I don't know where the heck he's racist, but they're claiming, he did more for African Americans than I could imagine, okay? But, you got unemployment, you have the immigration. There's so many issues to be concerned about. And I say, yes, they're important. But don't you think the most important thing is life? Look what they did with COVID, the China virus. They shut down the entire country. Right. Okay, because someone's going to die from COVID, but yet Wolf wants to take you to an abortion clinic so you can get rid of your unborn child. So what do you respond to when people say, why is life the most important thing, and why should you vote for those people who are pro-life?
Well, first of all, I'm pro-life. I know a lot of people who are pro-life, and I'm interested in a lot of issues. I'm interested in education. I'm interested in healthcare. I'm interested in the ecology. I'm interested in the national defense. I served in the military for 21 years. All of that stuff is important. But in the Declaration of Independence, we were given inalienable rights, and the very first right that our founders listed was the right to life. Sam, if you don't have the right to life, if you don't have the opportunity to survive and get through your mother's womb, it doesn't matter how good the defense is. It doesn't matter what education, what employment's out there. None of that matters, because you're never going to have the chance to experience it. And you can look at it from a human rights issue, which it is a human rights issue. But there are people who are very fervently religious. And I've talked to some people who are very, very religious, but somehow they believe that all these other issues sort of, mound up on the other side of pro-life. Let me tell you what. For example, the Catholic Church teaches that abortion, infanticide, euthanasia are intrinsically evil 100% of the time. 100% of the time. There is nothing more evil than those 3 things. And the church says you need to look at that, because if you're voting for a candidate who stands for something that's intrinsically evil, then that is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. And you are cooperating in what they're doing.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. In my own parish, people don't talk to me and my wife, or my wife and I, or whatever, because we're pro-life. We have people in our diocese of Scranton who are Eucharistic ministers, who distribute the body and blood of Jesus, who are pro-choice people, who think it's okay to have an abortion. Tell me how crazy this is.
Well, I'm not here to judge these people.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying how crazy is it.
But if they're following the Catholic Church teaching, the Catholic Church says that's intrinsically evil, 100% of the time.
They're following their selfish interest. Okay, they're following their selfish interest, knowing that you're going to promote the killing of unborn babies, just like saying promote COVID-19. Oh, you can, you know, people walk around, if they don't see you with a mask, they want to shoot you nowadays.
Oh,
that's how brainwashed we become,
Right.
okay? Not that the mask, okay, is important, but it's crazy. No one cared, Michael, about these 820. Now, this is 2017. I Googled
Those numbers are like that, up almost 1 million every single
So
year.
see, I don't have 18 or 19. What are the current? Are they over a million?
Well, we're waiting to get the CDC figures haven't come out, but the numbers we're following are getting up near 1 million every single year, just in the United States.
Yes.
Just in the United States, almost 3,000 every day in the United States.
They were excited in Ireland when they passed their abortion.
Oh my gosh.
They were excited. Could you imagine being excited? The poor little boy arms and legs and crushed heads being excited about that, Michael?
It's terrible.
It's absolutely insane. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show. Remember, 24/7, ssptv.com. Watch all of the shows that we produce. Remember, Comcast 190 Pottsville from 7 to 11 p.m. every day. Of course, on the Service Electric Cablevision up here, channel 13 and HD 513 24/7. In the Lackawanna area, Comcast 190, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays. And of course, Wilkes-Barre, Mountaintop in the area, Pittston, we're looking at Service Electric Communications, channel 92, from 7 to 11 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Let me read something to you, folks. Tearing a developed fetus apart limb by limb is an act of depravity that society should not permit. Dr. George Flesch, former abortionist. We're talking about pro-life today. I know some of you are getting upset because you got your candidate all set, and it's not what this candidate is for when it's saving life. You have the signs and the banners and everything, and now we're telling you that you should be voting for pro-life. Well, tough. We're protecting human life here. We're protecting human life. We had Michael Ciccocioppo, who was the executive director on. Now I have the education director, Bonnie Finnerty. Bonnie, how are you?
I'm good, Sam. Thank you.
How many children?
5.
How many grandchildren?
I have 3 with 1 on the way.
Yeah, you're lying. See, I said you look like my wife. She's like my.
I can show you pictures.
Yeah. Okay. What's life like now in this pandemic?
Well, it's a very interesting time because on one hand, we have these unprecedented efforts to save precious human life, right? And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And we've even had a lot of personal sacrifice. We've had our businesses closed. We've had our worship regulated. We've had our faces masked. And we've made some sacrifices in light of the danger we might pose to other people. But while all this was happening and all these government mandates went into place, one thing remained unregulated, and that was abortion centers in Pennsylvania. They remained open, and they remained performing abortions. And I really appreciate you drawing attention to the numbers in the opening of the show, because every day we see Governor Wolf and the Secretary of Health reporting daily death counts of COVID. And those death counts are very sad, and we are certainly mourning the loss of those people. What we're not reporting is the daily death count according to for abortions. So to give you an example, on Saturday, the state reported 22 deaths due to COVID-19, but usually they're probable deaths. They're not sure that the virus itself. How many deaths were attributed to abortion that day? Well, an average of 83 using last year's statistics. So far, if you go back to March 1st, in the beginning of this pandemic, there's been over 8,000 deaths attributed, and about half of those are probable to COVID. there's been almost 18,000 deaths due to abortion in our state. So there's a real hypocrisy. On one hand, we're saving lives, and on the other hand, we're taking them.
I just can't understand it, Bonnie, because I don't care. And the sad part is, from what I understand, most abortions are African Americans. Okay, and if I was African American, I'd be shocked. I'd be, protecting those unborn babies. Okay, but yet, majority of them seem to vote for people who want to promote abortions.
Yeah,
The collateral damage that is
okay,
happening.
all right. Well, and I think after 47 years, people are finally waking up to the collateral damage of abortion. I mean, we've taken 62 million lives in this country alone, but what we're hearing now are the voices of a lot of other people. We're hearing the voices of post-abortive women and men who have mourned the loss of their child, who maybe might have felt a sense of immediate relief, but have been haunted by that decision. And they're finding their voice in the Silent No More campaign, which has thousands and thousands of people who have offered their testimony and their regret for abortion. We see them showing up every year on the Supreme Court steps and at the March for Life, sharing their painful testimony. We're also hearing from former abortion workers who are leaving the abortion industry, who have been traumatized by their experiences there. And many of them are working with Abby Johnson, who people may know as the a Planned Parenthood director who left her job and became pro-life. And she's helping them to get out of the abortion industry. And another group that we're hearing from is abortion survivors. There are people walking around in our country today who were aborted, but they survived. And numbers might be as high as 44,000. And they ask a very provocative question. Can you look me in the eye and tell me I shouldn't exist? So these are voices that we're hearing that are kind of challenging the narrative that we hear in the media, that abortion is necessary and it's empowering. It's not. It's tragic, and it's leaving a lot of wounds in its wake.
We talked about the fact that they're talking about issues, other issues, and I just said that, what's more important than life? I mean, people raise thousands of dollars for cancer victims or people who are sick, different diseases. They're trying to keep these people alive, but yet they think nothing of killing the unborn babies.
Right.
Which, it just breaks my heart when I see, if you're uneducated and you don't know the difference, I can understand we have to educate you.
Right.
But if you are a Catholic, and if you are a person who is concerned about human life, how can you then support someone who will continue this destruction of unborn babies?
It's so true.
I mean, and then I mentioned unwanted. Forget about unborn babies. What happens when you get sick, Bonnie?
Right.
And you're unwanted now. And they say, well, we have to pull the plug. What do you mean, Whip? Well, you're unwanted. Well, that's a different story now. The same person who was pro-choice, all of a sudden, well, you can't get rid of my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, whatever. I mean, see the hypocrisy here?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. And I think that it's really hard, no matter what your religion is, just as a human being. As Michael said, this is a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue. We have embryology that we didn't have in 1973. We have ultrasound. We have a window into the womb. We now have research that says babies as young as 7 weeks have pain receptors that they may be able to feel pain. This isn't a blob of tissue. This isn't 1973. This is a new day and age where we're realizing we are destroying our future by destroying helpless, innocent babies. And as you said, by violent means. I mean, it's just inexcusable. It has to stop.
And now you have people who are going nuts because they feel that if they get a Supreme Court justice that will overturn this murder slaughtering, okay, they're going crazy.
Yeah.
They're going crazy. Like as if why should we stop this slaughtering of unborn babies, okay? And when I look at some, I say, well, I cannot get the logic to this, Bonnie. I really can't.
Right, and I think a lot of people don't understand that if Roe versus Wade is overturned, the decision about abortion will go back to the states, and that's where we're going to have to levy our fight. It will be on the state level.
I don't know how you could get up in the morning knowing that you're going to kill an unborn baby. I don't know how you could get up in the morning knowing I'm providing someone to kill an unborn baby. Bonnie, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Sam.
Keep up the good work. as I said, it's an interesting task. You know, we have some religious who really don't support us the way they should support us, in my opinion. Coming up next, Maryann Lawhon. She's president of Pennsylvanians for Human Life, the voice for John too, and we'll continue on with this. If you're frustrated, you should be, because today there'll be more unborn babies killed, and we won't see headlines like this. My God, 200,000 people died of COVID-19, and that's sad. It's tragic. How many of those people were already sick? And really, did we get the true facts? Were they really COVID, or was something else in it because they got COVID, they died? There's all these political things happening right now. We do know one thing for certain. These people that have COVID, they were slaughtered. They were slaughtered. Legs pulled apart, heads crushed. How can you have this continue in America today? I have no idea. We'll be right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show. Folks, let me read this. 3 to 4 weeks, the baby's heart begins its first beats. 6 weeks, she has detectable brain waves and complete skeletal system. 7 weeks, complete fingers, toes, and ears. 8 weeks, all organs are formed and functioning. By 20 weeks, the unborn child has hair, working vocal cords, sucks her thumb, grasps with her hands, and can feel pain. And they think it's okay to rip these babies apart, Maryann, huh? Yeah. It's just like, you know, you read this, okay, Governor Wolf says, if you want to kill them, you know, if you want abortions, have abortions, okay? How insensitive can you be, yet be on television every day telling us about COVID-19 and, you know, we're going to stop the world, et cetera, et cetera. I've seen so much hypocrisy in my life, it's pathetic. Maryann, you are the president of the Pennsylvania for Human Life, right?
Correct.
Now, let's talk about what are the when someone says to you, it's women's health care. Planned Parenthood is for women's health care. And that sounds good. We got to protect women. Okay, what do you say to that?
You know, that's a great question, and I feel like we are standing in history right now on the topic of women's health care. I recently had the privilege, the honor, to interview Dr. Alvita King. She is the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She's an evangelist. She is a post-abortive woman who, in this interview, she talked about her own abortion and the wound that it left in her. And to every woman, and I am a women's rights activist, and what I say to you, what Pennsylvanians for Human Life, what the voice of John speaks, is that Planned Parenthood, by telling you that killing your child empowers you, wrong. I will walk the walk with you. I will give you the alternatives. I will empower you to make a decision that you can live with and your child. We talk about the adoption option. What a beautiful, courageous thing. And Pennsylvanians for Human Life, we have had the privilege of actually working with the local attorney and placing some of these children in adoptive homes. It's been an honor. It empowers a woman. If you tell her that killing her baby is a good option, then stand outside the U.S. Supreme Court during the March for Life and listen to women who will talk about what abortion did to them. And that moment that they heard that suction machine go on, the one woman said to me, when I heard that, I heard in my soul, I heard my baby scream, "Mama." And she said, it never left me. I hear my child's voice. And so I am here to empower women. My organization, the pro-life movement, we are giving women healthy alternatives. Killing your baby does not empower you. However, let me just say this, because it sounds condemning what I said. We offer forgiveness through Christ, through the crucifix. And that's the important thing to know, is that we're not here judging you. We're here to guide you, to help you, to empower you. And for post-abortive women, healthcare is saying there's people you can turn to who will teach you forgiveness. The blood that was shed that day in Calvary, it cleanses the blood that flows from these abortion clinics.
Your voice, folks, I want you to go to thevoiceforjohn2.org. You'll be pleasantly surprised. I want to close by saying this. We're all sinners.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I'd be able to face my Maker when I die and tell him, I helped kill your creation. I helped support people who killed your creation. I shudder when I think of that.
And that's exactly true. And indifference, washing our hands, not getting to the polls. Yeah. We're here, we'll help you get to the polls if you need a ride to the poll. We are on the cusp of history. While so many people are knocking down statues and dubbing Abraham Lincoln as a racist, we stand at the cusp of history. This isn't now just about local representatives, state representatives, congressmen, senators, not even about 4 more years for a president. This is a Supreme Court that we're going to change the course of history.
Maryann, we'll see you at the end of October.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay, and I appreciate it. I want to thank Michael Ciccocioppo and also Bonnie Finnerty. Why don't they come with easier names, like Michael Smith, Bonnie Rose, or something like that? No, I'm only kidding. And Maryann, it's always nice to see you. Folks, we ask you to look at the facts. Don't let these people lie to you and tell you that things. We're trying to save lives here, unborn babies that have no say. Remember what I say. You're going to have to answer when someday, and I'll tell you, I'd be really shaken if I knew I was supporting people who kill unborn babies. We'll see you next time.